Hey guys, my name is Lindsay, and in this video I'm going to share with you my experiences living with Spaniards in Spain. So if you're interested, keep watching. So hey guys, my name is Lindsay, and on my channel I make videos about living and teaching abroad in Spain, and I also cover career and millennial topics as well. So if you're interested in that, please consider subscribing to my channel. Click the link below, subscribe, and also if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Alright, so let's get into the video. Alright, so when I studied abroad in Spain, I lived with host families. I lived with 3 different families. And for me personally, I really didn't enjoy it that much because I'm kind of a picky eater and I'm really independent. So I felt kind of tied up with the host family schedule and everything. And a lot of times you don't really live with a family. You end up living kind of with an older couple who makes food for you. But they didn't really talk to me that much, so I didn't really find it that beneficial. That was just my experience with host families. So when I moved back to Spain to be a language assistant, after studying abroad in college, I knew that I wanted to live in an apartment, and I knew that I wanted to live with Spanish people, mostly to improve my Spanish and kind of get more integrated in the culture. So I'm just going to share with you my experiences living with different Spanish people, and spoiler alert, there is a lot of cheating going on. Yeah, cheating. So when I first moved to Spain as a language assistant, I ended up getting the city of Huelva, which is a city between Sevilla and Portugal. And it's kind of a small city, not huge, 150,000. But you get the urban vibe, but without a big, huge urban sprawl, like Madrid or something like that. And I love living there. I lived there for 2 years. I ended up living in 4 different apartments while I was there. But the first place I ended up moving into, I found at easypiso.com, and I don't know, it seemed like what people are using back in the day. I feel like people nowadays use idealista.com more, or Idealista. But back in the day, I'm like, Easy Piso, yeah, let's do this. So I found this chick online, and I saw her apartment, and it looked really nice, and it looked about 15 minutes walking distance from my school. So I thought, heck yeah, I'm gonna check that place out. And so I liked it, and I said, hey, yeah, I'll move in. I think it was 165 euros for a bedroom, and it was 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom apartment on the 6th floor. So yeah, I moved in. But after about a week or 2, I just realized, she was really smoking a lot and doing drugs a lot. And she told me she had this boyfriend who lived in Cadiz, and he would come visit every other weekend. But on the weekends he was gone. She would have other guys over all the time. And I was just like, all right, okay, no big deal, right? And I felt really bad for her boyfriend, though, because he had been in some sort of accident, and he had paralyzed half of his body, and he seemed like a really nice guy, but she was straight up cheating on him all the time. And I only ended up staying there for about a month because I found a better apartment closer to my school, with a teacher. So after a month I moved out, and to be honest, I was kind of glad I was away from that craziness. And even after the first week I was there too with her, I met this guy. She would invite guys over for lunch every day. And I remember this one guy was like, yeah, I just got a gel last week. And I was like, gel? Oh, yeah, some drugs or whatever. I was like, okay. And actually, it turns out that first apartment I was living in was kind of right next to the drug neighborhood in my town. And I was like, oops. So yeah, I went to school after a few weeks, and I was like, I don't think I want to live with that apartment anymore. And a teacher at my school was like, hey, I just got divorced and I have a really big apartment if you want to move in. And it was actually a 2-story apartment, a penthouse with 2 levels, right? And upstairs there was 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and downstairs I think there was 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. It was pretty freaking big, and it had 2 balconies. It was literally 3.5 minutes walk to my school. So I was like, heck yeah, I'm coming. And I ended up paying 200 euros for that apartment, but I got 2 balconies, 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, all to myself. But I did share with her family. She had 2 little boys. One was 14, one was 7, and her, but they're doing stuff all the time. I rarely saw them, and they just let me have all my own space. And I had the upstairs area to myself all the time. The only downside to that was that obviously I couldn't really have parties or invite people over because a family lived there. But it's fine. It was really close to the downtown area. I could walk everywhere. And Huelva's super small, so you can get everywhere super fast. But to be honest, that year, I love living with that family. I didn't really interact with them that much. The lady, she was a teacher at my school, but she taught in a whole nother division, and it's a whole nother building, so I rarely saw her. But she was like the sweetest lady, and I was like, yeah, her name was Claudia. So after the first year and I lived with that teacher, like, I had a great experience. I felt like my Spanish improved all right. We didn't really talk that much, so it wasn't like drastic or anything. But I remember I would speak to her housekeeper like every single day, Victoria or Vicky. And I just remember she'd always be like, "Te marchas, te marchas." Every time I was leaving, I'm like, "Sí, me marcho, me marcho." Whatever. I don't know, those are both, that experience was really positive. I just remember like Vicky was cleaning every day, the housekeeper, and she would like iron my underwear, and I was like, wow, Vicky, you're amazing. That's really not necessary though. And she would like fold my underwear, and like I fold my underwear to this day because of Vicky. Shout out to Vicky. You're the best. So that first year living in that apartment with the family was like pretty awesome. I don't have any regrets on that. Sorry about my first chick that I lived with for a month. You know, I hope everything worked out with her and her boyfriend. But anyway, the next year I decided, hey, you know what? I don't want to live with a family. I really want to live with Spanish people at like my age. So I found this apartment. I don't know. I think I found it through like a flyer. Like if you go to the university in any city, they have like flyers up, or I don't know if they still do this, because whatever, we're in like 2017, 2018 now. And I ended up getting a really nice apartment. I also paid 200 euros for this one, but everything was included as well. And it was brand new, amazing apartment, close to the city center, close to like the mall, amazing. But I was living there with a couple. We didn't really interact that much just because our schedules were totally different. A lot of times on the weekends, the people in Huelva, like, they would go home to their pueblo outside of the city. So I didn't really see them that much. So I wouldn't say my Spanish drastically improved living there either. And I lived there for about 4 or 5 months. And then in February, one of my American friends, kind of like an acquaintance, we weren't like that super close. She was like, hey, my roommate's moving out. And she lived across town. But I thought, you know what, like I kind of wouldn't mind moving in with her just so I could like have like an American friend to talk to. And she was also living with a Spanish girl as well. So I'm like, okay, I have an American friend and a Spanish friend. Match made in heaven. So in February, I moved out of the apartment with the couple, the brand new apartment, and moved into this other apartment with my American friend. It was a little bit cheaper. I think I paid 165, 170 maybe per month. It was closer to the university. It was in a new apartment too. Every apartment I lived in Huelva was new and nice. It's a newer city, so that's kind of why. I think there was an earthquake there 100 years ago or something, and everything broke down, so I had to build new buildings. So most things there are pretty new. So living with my friend was really awesome. Living with my American friend, it was kind of nice to like have someone to talk to or just like connect with. And at the same time, I had this Spanish girl living in an apartment too. And at the time I was 23 or 24, and the Spanish girl was 29, and I just remember thinking, wow, she's so old. She works at a bank, whatever. And so every weekend she would go home too, so I rarely saw her. So we got a lot of get-togethers at my apartment there. It was really fun. I like love living in that apartment. Only thing I didn't like about it was freaking hot and there was no air conditioning. And I didn't realize this until later, but I was like, why do Spanish people always keep their curtains shut? And they're like this little persianas, like, which is just like a plastic curtain that comes down in front of the windows. Like Spanish people always keep them shut. And I'm like, do they like living in a cave or what? And then I realized that in the summertime, when it's freaking like an oven outside, like the only way to keep your house cool is by making it like a cave, by shutting all the persianas, the curtains, these plastic curtains, or I don't know what they're really called, blinds, something like that. So I learned the hard way that if you keep it open all day, it's gonna be really, really hot in your apartment. But I really enjoyed that apartment. It wasn't like that fancy or anything, but it was new and it was nice, and I was really happy about that, and it was pretty big. In fact, I'm still in contact with my landlord to this day. Like, he was a really nice guy. So, but I think like living with Spaniards overall, I was always out and about, so it really didn't actually improve my Spanish that much. And they were also always like doing their own thing or going with their family somewhere. Like, I never really did anything outside of the house with my roommates, with the couple and with the older girl that I live with. However, with the family that I lived with the first year, we would do some things together, like maybe every couple of months we would go out to eat, or we went to Huelva together once, we went to the beach once. We did some little things together. I felt pretty connected with Claudia. She was like super nice, like the mom that I lived with. But with the other Spanish people I live with, we didn't really interact that much. But one thing I did notice that Spanish people are really clean for the most part. Well, I shouldn't make a blanket statement, but the people I live with were really, really clean. They would like freaking mop the floor every single day. Like in America, we vacuum maybe once a week, but these people were mopping every single day. I was super impressed by that. And overall, like, to be honest, I think I had pretty good experiences with roommates. Like, I've heard really bad stories and stuff, but I think I had a great experience. When I moved to Madrid last year, I ended up living in a studio by myself because I kept on finding apartments online with like 10 rooms, and I was like, I don't think I want to live with 10 people, and these people would be from all over the world. I feel like in Spain it's kind of hard to find Spanish people to live with because they probably either live with their family there or their girlfriend or boyfriend, and you usually end up living with other foreigners in Madrid. I felt like in Madrid it was kind of hard to integrate in Spanish culture. But I didn't live there that long, just a few months, so it was kind of really hard for me to give an honest opinion of, you know, living with Spanish people there. But overall in Huelva, I had a great experience. Oh, but one other thing, like when I did live with the older Spanish girl in that last apartment that I shared with my American friend, the Spanish girl had a really cute boyfriend, and I forgot his name, but she was also cheating on him with this older man, her ex-boss. Like, he looked to be in his 50s and she was 29, and he would come over and just hang out in her room, and I was just like, okay, Tony, whatever. And he was like not attractive at all, and she was cheating on her boyfriend. So 2 out of 4 apartments I lived in with Spanish people, the girls were cheating on their boyfriends. Just so you know, Spanish guys, you better find a loyal lady or she's gonna be cheating on you. So yeah, those are my experiences living with Spanish people in Spain. Yeah, so if you have any other questions about living with Spanish people in Spain, just leave it in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer your questions. And yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and share this video with a friend if you found it helpful. Give it a thumbs up.